Hi, I'm Robin Forster, and this is a little unusual. Today we are doing part two because Amy and I have been talking, and you'll have to go back and look at part one to find out about her and her body work and all her experience. And she's taken all of that to another level. And so we were talking, and it's like, oh, Amy, you have to share. And so, what she's going to talk to us about first is about our lymph system. And I'm in health and wellness. And so when Amy was talking about detoxing the body, that's something that I share with people also and never even thought about the lymph system.
Mhm.
So I am very excited. So, Amy, now you're going to tell us about it and show us a little bit, just real quick, what we can do at home, right?
Sure, yeah, I'll be as concise as I can be. Our lymphatic system, as you mentioned, is our natural detoxification system. It's a it's a pressurized fluid system in our body that also runs congruent with our blood and with our nerves. And it unlike so the blood has the heart that pumps and pumps the blood. Our lymphatic system doesn't have that same mechanism. So what actually gets it moving is movement of our body.
Oh, so sitting all day doesn't work out well for moving the lymph system, right?
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
So, but the good news is that there's very simple ways that you can stimulate your lymph to get moving again.
Okay, I'm ready for show and tell because I'm just fascinated by this.
So, of course, you can go into great detail. And, if you were to get a full lymphatic drainage massage, that could go on for a couple of hours. But what we're going to do today, or I'll give you an idea of, is a 2-minute process that you do on yourself. And you can do it a few times a day if you like. It's quite easy and simple. So it goes with, there's 6 spots in the body, which I'll show you really quickly. And the moves on it really is just to kind of massage so that you move the skin a little bit. It's not a deep massage. It's more just about kind of getting some movement in that area. And it's actually fairly quick. So it's like closer to a vibration than a deep pushing kind of touch, right? And then tapping it. Same things, quite quick. And that you would do this on both sides. You're always going right, left, right, left. And so that
Not doing two at once, but doing one and then moving to the other side
you could do both at once, but it's kind of easier just to focus on
one at a
one
time.
at a time.
Okay. Especially this day and age. There's so much going on. When you said 2 minutes, it was like, yes, I can do
Yep,
something for two
good,
minutes. That
good,
works.
good, good. That
Okay, so we've done kind of the neck collarbone area. Okay, so what's
that's
next?
right. So I'll just walk you through the other ones and really quickly. So the other one's behind, like underneath your ear, right behind where your jaw is. So this is also one of the big centers, like the biggest spots for the vagus nerve. Then there's the shoulder, in front of the shoulder here. This would be number 3. Number 4 is down halfway between the rib cage and the belly button. And there's this spot, and this one actually is quite deep and it can be quite uncomfortable for many people at first. The next point is down at the hips where the legs meet your pelvis, and then behind the knees. So
Okay.
we'd be doing the same thing of rubbing fairly quickly and then tapping.
So it's
And
almost like a friction rubbing, right?
yeah,
So
that's
it's
a great way
like
to
if your hands are cold, that kind of a rubbing. That's okay.
similar. Yeah. So doing so is going to get some stimulation moving. And then after that, that should only take you about a minute to do. After that, you bounce for about a minute.
Oh. Okay, now why bounce?
Well, bouncing gets especially right in the guts. there's a lot of lymph in our abdominal area, so it it kind of massages that part of our body and gets it moving. And nothing
Interesting.
works as good as bouncing.
Huh. Okay, this is fascinating because I am at my desk 80% of the time and I am sitting and I know I need to move more. And you and I have talked a little bit about me having trigeminal neuralgia and kind of nerve issues. And that's what brought up this lymph discussion. And I've been looking for ways I can increase more movement that is quick and easy, that I don't have to go someplace, I have to do something, I have to close, all of those things. I can just, so I'm thinking I could just do this twice a day at my desk and awesome.
I'm gonna contact you in a couple of weeks and see
Good.
what you
Okay.
notice. See what you notice after a couple of weeks of doing that. You know, what you experience.
Oh, what fun.
Mhm.
Okay. Um, okay, and then you were all telling me that you have a group going on, and I might be interested in that. So we just want to take a few minutes to share with that, and then I think you have a freebie that you wanted to tell us about
I
too,
do,
right?
I do. So first off, I've developed a group program that is online, and it's for a small cohort of people, and it's called a compassionate practice. And what we do is we take the time to acknowledge all of the feelings that are inside of your body and then to move them. So this is not about exercise. It's a program that is really more about the the intention behind movement, knowing that every movement starts with a feeling.
You know, when you started talking, we were chatting about this before we were recording, and
Yeah.
you were talking about behind every movement is a feeling. And it's good to hear it again because the first time I heard it was like, okay, I can wrap my head around this. I'm sure that that's a possible thing to do, but it's so different. And then we started chatting a little bit about me grabbing my water to drink my water. And for me, it was just so silly because it's like, it's a 10-minute interview. I'm sure I could not drink water for 10 minutes. And then what's the feeling behind that? And I'm just thinking for those folks who were smokers, like a lot of people in the world used to, I'm an ex-smoker, but I'm noticing that I still have some of that. What do I, because I'm real kinesthetic, what do I do with my hands, my fingers? And I think me, and you know, help me with this, flesh it out, but I think me grabbing my water has a lot more to do with I'm idle. So normally I would, not normally, in the past I would smoke, which is not a thing I want to do anymore. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I know I'm not the only ex-smoker in the world.
Well, I so every I don't know if you've ever followed the work of Dr. Gabor Mate, but he works a lot with addiction, and he's also Vancouver based, which is where I am, and worked in one of the poorest neighborhoods of North America here with addiction, and has made a link between experiencing trauma and addiction. And so it's more a, it's not so much the drug itself, it's more a coping mechanism that the body needs, right? Because before we were talking about how trauma lives in the body until we deal with it, and it's just stored there until you right. So if you, yeah, with that accumulation of sensation and feeling that again we tend to numb out, um, although some people also become hypersensitive, that's another expression of that, um, is that we rely on this other thing to help give us comfort. So it all comes back to kind of bringing comfort to yourself and bringing more, which to me is about bringing compassion. And so I developed this compassionate practice because I see the such value in not judging what it is that we need, but instead being able to acknowledge the feelings, the complex feelings, and the many feelings that we have about who we are and what we're experiencing. And then to be able to move from that place.
Wow. That's, I mean, I know this is your work, so you're immersed in it and you've created it, and so you've traveled along that path.
Yeah.
And for those of us who are just starting to get our heads wrapped around this, it's like, oh wow. Okay, so since there's more to learn and more to do and all that, why don't you tell us a little bit about the freebie that you've got cooking up for folks? Because that just sounds like it's going to be awesome.
Thank you. I'm developing a 5-day practice for people to tune into their body for a few minutes each day in a slightly different way. So this is a really gentle, easy entry into this whole world of greater connection with your own body.
Wow. Okay, I'm excited about that coming out. And you were saying where people can go so they can see these programs and stuff. Where what the link is?
Go to my website. It's amykubanek.com. Kubanek.
Excellent. And then the people that you referred to, I will make sure that those get into the show notes with the links. So for those of us who didn't get the spelling right the first time, we don't need to worry about that. So, Amy, thank you. This has just been amazing. I'm just awed and very appreciative of your time.
Oh, thank you. It's been a pleasure for me too.
Oh, super. Okay.